Let's go. It's been a while, right? The camera scooted too far back.
I'm like, whoa.
It's been a while, right? Better? Better?
God, why is it like that? You can still see that.
It just got moved.
All right, I guess that's fine. Yep.
Better?
Yep.
It's been a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it. Let's go. All right, here we go. Hello, welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Sunday, October the 23rd. Real quickly, a reminder that time flies. I think the last time we did a show was about a month ago, and we had just gotten a new kitten. We found the kitten at the club in which we teach. So I'm going to bring Jackson without further ado and check out this little guy. Hit the power button on that. Right? He's gotten bigger. So cool, right? So good to see Jax here being part of the 5K crew. He's always doing well.
I was like, what is this?
What's up, Yen Hao Kor? Good to see you as well. Here you go, Lily. And I think the last time we had Sub-Zero here, I don't know if you can even pick him up.
I'll try.
We'll try. So Sub-Zero we got about a year ago, and we showed him at 6 weeks old. And if you can pick him up, I don't know if you can get him in the picture. But here's Sub-Zero now.
He's too big. He's too big to carry.
You can't. Yeah, he's quite a monster now. So Sub-Zero, say hello, and we appreciate what you do for us, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, Sub-Zero.
He's a pain in the butt.
He's a big dog. He went to the vet the other day, and he's pushing 60 pounds, roughly. So soon to be 1-year-old Sub-Zero. All right, you ready to go? All right, I'm going to start today with a couple shout outs as usual. Number one to Florence Chan. Florence is the painter of this big picture up here, which she's a Djokovic fan. So you can see the goat painted up like Norway, which my mother thought at first was colors of the Russian flag. Anyway, not Serbian flag, but she painted us a new picture. And that picture is right here. See it?
It's a nice one. Looks like the Australian. Is that
like Wimbledon?
Oh, that's Wimbledon.
Yeah, it looks like Wimbledon with the 5K, and then once again Djokovic up there. Now her depiction of Djokovic up there looks like Cartman from South Park, doesn't it? Doesn't it kind of like Cartman from South Park with brown hair?
It does.
It does indeed. So shout out to Florence as always for the painting. She always does a lovely job. Also shout out as well to the entire YTech Strings team. A good friend of Carla and I owns YTech Strings, Igor Savage. You notice I've got the YTech's Rise Tennis Academy shirt on. Today, we've been doing a play test the last couple of weeks with their new Square X Sharp string, and it has become very popular and as well a personal favorite. So I think we're both playing with that completely. So thanks again to Igor and Team YTech, and don't forget, as we approach Australian Open 2023, we will be doing our fantasy teams and our cash giveaway competitions, and YTech is a big part of that. All right, let's get right into a multitude of topics that we have. But before we get into Simona Halep and her positive test results for doping, I wanted to, as a warm-up, get into the current state of tennis globally and your thoughts on where tennis is headed. And I'll start with this. Carla, what are your thoughts inherently about the global tennis community? What are your thoughts? Doing well?
I think tennis is doing the way it's always been. I mean, if you watch a lot of the social media stuff, especially Instagram, a lot of tennis in Europe for sure. I don't know what the temperatures are like over there right now. Is it cold? Winter?
Well, the good thing about tennis is it can be played indoors.
I mean, I don't think it's decreased. I think it's just fine, just doing well. A lot of tournaments from what I see on TV. A lot of people playing. You know, a lot of people don't want to be stuck at home, so I'm guessing they're playing a lot of indoor tennis. The weather is cooler here in the U.S., so more people are playing. A lot of kids playing, a lot of school tryouts. I think it's fine.
Okay. If you could describe the current state of tennis in a couple of words, what would those words be? I think positive.
Yeah, it's positive. Yeah. Current state of tennis. Nothing spectacular. Just, same old, I guess.
Yeah. If I put the current state of tennis in a few words, I would say prosperous, especially at the club or recreational level.
Sure, there, yeah.
And I think I would have to answer that question in context. I would say prosper at the junior club, people playing the game level, but I think at the pro level, or especially the USA men's tennis level, I would say there is less quantity of great players.
There definitely
Right?
is. I've watched a lot of college, videos and stuff, and I was like, wow, the tennis has really kind of gone down. On certain levels, like community colleges, the level's pretty low actually. Um, and I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see the college level too high like it used to be.
Yeah, I think quality is harder to find. I think the quantity is growing of players, but I think the quality is hard to find. So I'm gonna grab this door because he's knocking. But take
Yeah.
a couple quick questions.
Yes. So how's everybody doing?
Yeah.
Well, he'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry about that. We had a construction worker outside. So quantity over quality is a dichotomy, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have quantity, but where's the quality?
Mm-hmm.
And I say this basically in lieu of USA men's tennis, right? We've been struggling to find a top player since the likes of Sampras, Agassi, I guess you could say Roddick. Anyway, but why is that? And I don't want to get into this subject again, but we teach, right, Carla? We teach 6, 7 days a week. We haven't done the show in a month, not because we haven't wanted to, but we've been happily busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that we see time and time again, coaching, especially with new students? We see that pretty much everybody can hit the forehand and they can kind of serve. But outside of that, and there's a large quantity of that type of game, but outside of that, there's not much else, right?
I was looking. I always look at the junior tournaments that are going around here, and I noticed that a lot of the kids that are winning have, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but the last names are not American, typical last names. A lot of Indian kids are winning, coming from Georgia, European last names, Russian, I'm not sure, there's the Ovas and the stuff like that. And I noticed that the American kids are getting left behind. And I asked myself, why are they getting left behind? Is it the coaching? Is it that the kids are not hungry? Or do the kids, because they play locally, think they're good, but then when they face other players coming from different places,
They get crunched.
The other thing is, I noticed a lot of kids play a lot of tournaments, and they're losing,
And losing badly.
and losing badly, and then you have to stop. You got to improve before you can play. I don't know. I don't want to offend it, because usually if I say something, I'll offend somebody. But
Well, yes, and okay. The fact of the matter is that not just where we are, but in the U.S. as a whole, outside of pockets in Florida and New York, California, but
Georgia has very big
again, those pockets have a lot of international players that come here to play. So
yeah, I feel like most of the players that are winning come from an international background. That's what I
yes.
meant to say.
Yes,
The kids who are winning come from an international background. That's what I really meant to say.
Yeah.
And then that's a problem for American kids. Big problem.
and you have to ask yourself the question, why is this? Life is tough, right? And I always say on our show or your show that if you don't work hard, someone else will, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be that currently a lot of the kids, and again, not just here, but everywhere in the United States, they are, given smartphones when they're, young things. They get drawn into certain isms and beliefs. The family may be economically struggling, and we know a thing or two about that. Depression, the mental state of a lot of kids these days, internationally, domestically, because of things like economic struggle or the way they look or whatever it is. And the mental health thing is another big thing. So there was a survey on a recent show, 60 Minutes, 2020, whatever it was, and they polled something like 100,000 people in the United States. And the poll question was what percentage of people do you think have mental struggles? And believe it or not, it was an overwhelming 95% of Americans thought that children had mental issues in terms of depression, right?
That's sad.
So
That's very
we,
sad.
we have to ask ourselves, why is this? Is it trying to keep up with the Joneses? Is it being given a smartphone at a young age?
It definitely is keeping up. I noticed that. Here's the other problem with American tennis. A lot of the kids that are playing tennis come from, and not that there's a problem with that, come from families that are well off. I feel like some of them don't feel like they have to work really hard. Everything is given to them already. So there's nothing to really work for. Some of, they keep playing the same style. They don't change. They're having coaches that, what I've noticed that as a coach, you can't really be tough on some of those kids because their feelings get hurt, or the parents might not
get
like
mad
it.
At you or whatever,
so the way that coaches are teaching now, they have to be very careful whose toes they're stepping on, because their jobs could be at jeopardy. So instead, they say things that parents wants to hear. They want to please the parents. Back in our days, I felt like a lot of the coaches didn't give a crap of what the parent.
More of a straightforward.
They would tell you straightforward that you suck and you need to work harder. Yeah. You can't do that now. So I think that's another problem, that all these, you can't tell the truth to anyone anymore. They get so offended. I notice with students, like, you have to be careful what you say. You might offend them. So you have to sugarcoat things. And that's bad, because how are you going to improve if you don't know what you're doing wrong or what you should be working on?
And to end this topic, Carl and I coach, as you well know, we love it. We'd rather be doing nothing more. Part of me wishes I was there today. We coach for 6 days, so today's our day off. Yeah. But I think that's what makes what we do a little bit differently. Now, I will say that the way we more or less tell the truth right off the get-go, I think sometimes it creates haters.
Yes.
So sometimes I think that it's very difficult these days for coaches to have haters. Like, they think about it too much. They give false positives. Hey, you did great, when actually you didn't do that great, type of thing. And we do that type. We do say it like it is. And I think sometimes it comes off a little bit too direct. But ultimately, I think that has a lot to do with the problem of young players these days from the U.S. really taking that next leap forward. Here's an example. If we have a student that comes to us and they've been playing for a while, and what's the first thing you and I do? We bring them to the net. We want to see if they can control the game at the net. And time again, we see young players and older players too that have been playing for a while, and they're at the net hitting two-handed backhand volleys, right? When you see things like that, and the players have been playing for a large period of time, I think you and I are the type of person that would say, hey, you got to quit that. It's just hackish. It's very beginnerish. And because of that, I think sometimes we get more gripe, I think, than we deserve, but we're just telling the truth. And anyway, so all I'm getting at is at this day and age, the coaching has gotten softer.
It has
because of brown nosing.
Their jobs are on the line, and
exactly.
And so forth.
So anyway, I think the current state of tennis globally is prosperous, but I think it's harder to find quality, and there's definitely quantity, but less
quality.
A lot of players. Yeah. All right, shifting to the second topic, and the most important one, is Simona Halep. Simona Halep tested positive for roxadustat. Roxadustat is a, quote, prolyl hydroxylase inhibitor. It increases the endogenous production of erythropoietin, and stimulates production of hemoglobin and red blood cells and bone marrow. Okay. The thing I thought was interesting about this is that this was the very first instance of blood doping in tennis. So what better way to make a martyr of somebody than getting that first instance of, and someone can in comments can fill me in on this, or if my dad's out there, he's a doctor, whatever. But what is blood doping? So I kept reading that this was the very first instance of blood doping. So for Simona Halep, she is the first person in tennis to get charged with cheating, in essence, because of blood doping. Define that. What is it? Intravenously injected instead of a pill? What does that mean? Is it put right into the bone marrow? I don't know. But currently she's suspended indefinitely. Okay, so because there's an investigation ongoing. So Simona Halep could face up to 4 years of suspension from all tournament play. Now, for Simona Halep at her age and her gameplay, very grinding, very defensive, kind of Nadal-esque in a way, but even more so, wouldn't that be a death sentence in a way for her? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
4 years is the end, right?
It was a death sentence for Sharapova when she got suspended. Absolutely, it is. I mean, honestly, I don't want to say she's guilty, um, because I have a hard time believing that this young lady, who's always shown great sportsmanship, always has worked hard. You've never really heard drama in her, in her life. That it would actually do this, would actually cheat. I know that she made a statement, said it was a low dose. She'll prove whatever, whatever. I'm hoping it's an accident. I'm hoping that maybe it's something that was, I don't know, mixed up with something. I don't know how this works. I have never heard of that in my life. It didn't help her at the U.S. Open. I mean, she lost at the first round. But at the same time, you have to think who she's with. She's going through a divorce. She almost retired and then decided to, hire Patrick, which personally, for some reason, I think he's sleazy. I would think that he's that type of coach that would try to give her some type of,
or maybe
or push her to do something,
or a
like
shortcut.
A shortcut. Yes, I believe he's that type of coach. But I really hope they're wrong. Like I would hate this for her. She has what, 3 slams? She has a very grinding game, 5-5. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't even know if I can say she cheated because it was in such a low dose. I don't know how that's gonna help her.
Okay, let's read Simona Halep's statement that she released after she was made aware of these positive results. And I quote, so this is from Simona Halep, quote, "Today begins the hardest match of my life, a fight for the truth. I have been notified that I have tested positive for a substance called roxadustat in an extremely low quantity, which came as the biggest shock of my life. Throughout my whole career, the idea of cheating never even crossed my mind once, as it is totally against all the values I have been educated with. Facing such an unfair situation, I feel completely confused and betrayed. I will fight until the end to prove that I never knowingly took any prohibited substance, and I have faith that sooner or later the truth will come out. It's not about the titles or the money, it's about the honor and the love story I have developed with the game of tennis for over the last 25 years. Okay. My thoughts on this, number one, is not accusing Raducanu of anything, but it just is kind of weird because it's just odd. Because if you look at Sasha Bajin, right? Sasha Bajin was a Raducanu worker. Patrick Raducanu and Sasha Bajin were 2 peas in a pod. Serena Williams, Bajin's the hitting partner. He's the coach. And when Bajin split with Raducanu, he became a coach on his own right, and he began coaching Daria Yastremska. Now, what happened to Yastremska? Yastremska got busted for doping, right?
Yeah, but Bajin was Serena's hitting partner. I didn't know that him and Patrick had it.
Well, you would see them kind of congregate.
Oh, I didn't know.
I mean, I'm not saying they were, but they're well known to be kind of at that point of an entity of coworkers or colleagues in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, so your initial thoughts, Carlos, you said those, but when you first read this, and when all of you watched this or whatever, and you first read this, what is the immediate thought that you had right then and there without thinking? What was it? You read it and you're like, oh, my immediate thought was like, dang, really?
I couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe it.
I was like, no way.
I'm like, how?
Not Halep. I was like, no way. I mean, this girl, oh, that's Jean Short. Oh, thank you, Jean.
What's up, Jean?
Ruin just beat Steph.
Oh,
I feel so bad for Steph, by the way.
And Jean, what's up? We are going to talk about that match between Tsitsipas and Rune. We always do segments on this show about players that are coming up and no one really knows how to say their name, and then all of a sudden they change their name. For instance, like Muguruza became Muguruza, and the list goes on. But we did hear the commentator saying Runa. So instead of, we've been saying Holger Rune for a year or more, and now we're saying Runa, and we'll get to that shortly. But yes,
I mean, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, and I'm like, geez, this girl doesn't need any more.
What's up, Ben?
Any more things? Doesn't need any more bad things happening in her life. I mean, didn't she just have some surgery that she's recovering from? Again, a short marriage. I mean, first round exit at the U.S. Open after hiring a very expensive coach, a well-known coach. I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I guess what's the saying?
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
this is a classic
it's
example.
Unbelievable. I mean, this will tarnish you forever if this comes out to be true. I mean, she won't be inducted ever in the Tennis Hall of Fame. She won't be looked at the same. I mean, look at Sharapova, how everybody talks about her.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough thing for her. I really hope that it's wrong. For this player, I really do hope that it's wrong. I mean, I don't think that she'll come back. Why would you come back to tennis after this?
Well, Eleanor makes a good comment. She says, kind of shocked that Halep's name would be associated with cheating, and why now? And this is the same type of thought process I had when I read it. Like, Halep, really, or what? You know? And then why now? Exactly. So you mentioned a good point, Carla, that recently, within the not too distant past, Halep had a surgery to help her with her breathing. I think it was
No, that just happened now, after the U.S. Open.
So some type of breathing circumstances, in which I don't know, in no position. Again, if my dad's out there, maybe he can put in comments when he watches this, what would be the purpose? Now, we did a little research on it, and people use this Roxa dust or whatever, to help them if they have kidney issues, right? It helps promote red blood cell growth. So in other words, it helps build stamina in a way, right? So,
so stamina would help her because she has such a grinding game.
Yes, exactly. So
why would they
there's
test
motive.
her? She lost. Why would they test her? That's my question.
Yeah, and plus, I guess the more motive there, it would be because of her gameplay, her style of play. I don't know what the meaning is of she is the first instance, quote unquote, of blood doping. I don't.
Yeah, blood doping. My question is, it's been a great question. Is it possible she took something she wasn't aware of? If she took it orally, then yes. But if she took it through injection, then no.
Yeah.
If you can't fight that argument, then you took that by accident.
Yeah, and she doesn't have
If you took it orally and there was something in that, that whatever it's called, whatever in that pill or liquid, then you can say maybe, but not if it's supposed to be injected in you. That's where you would have to say, well, then no.
Yeah,
and new.
Yeah, and look,
nobody puts anything in their veins.
Yeah, or in the bone marrow.
That's even worse.
So it just really depends on a lot of things, and surely that's why there's an open investigation. But do you strip her titles from her if she loses this investigation?
No, you don't. If they didn't strip it from Sharapova, why would you strip it from her?
So did the U.S. Open? Did a representative from the U.S. Open mention when we were reading that there was a probability, if the investigation came out not in her favor, that they would look at removing her U.S. Open title?
No, that's not no, I looked that up. No one said that.
Wait a minute. She didn't win a U.S. Open, did she?
No,
she won a Wimbledon and the French. So anyway, I don't really. So yeah, I have to step back from reading that.
Trouble Mind says she's sweet and kind but sometimes desperation makes people look for darker options. Trust me. Sure, we've all been in a situation that there's perhaps something that we can do to better our lives, and some people do it and some people don't. Have I had many opportunities? Sure, but I haven't done that.
Good point.
I haven't taken that step. I feel like there's always a solution. That's, I guess, but I'm not a tennis pro, nor was I in her situation, I don't know.
Yeah, and sometimes, you get influenced by somebody, you get wrapped in with some slickster that has a shortcut offer for you, or, you just have to be careful today, because you can walk down what you think is a primrose path, and man, is there a thorn right in your foot in route. There are no shortcuts. And again, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little while ago, that you and I are pretty good at getting some haters, which we live with, because we don't.
And I'm okay with that.
We don't take shortcut paths. We don't brown nose anyone, and we tell a student that, hey, you got to work harder there, because it's just not acceptable. Whereas a majority of others would say, oh, you're doing great, good job. And this is the thing, is that there are no such things as shortcuts. Now, whether she is guilty of this infraction or whether she is not, I think Simona Halep should take a good look at where she wants to go in her future. Who's her team? Where is she going? Because right now it's raining and now it's pouring for her. Divorces are never easy.
Those doors are closing. You know how it is. You get judged, and people, in the tennis community, they judge you.
Yeah.
And just like in life, but I find that the tennis community, especially somebody hears something about you, they really shut you out real quickly. You know, they don't even want to hear the possibilities that you might not be whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, it's a dark, dark, dark path for her right now. Eleanor says, is tennis trying to avoid a bigger scandal like betting abusive players, fixed matches?
It's possible.
Maybe. I mean, you know, here we have the coaches that have relationships with their students, young students. Nothing's done. Guys in the tour that are beating their girls, choking them, smacking them, whatever. Nothing's been done. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, either way, cheating, smacking, betting, it's all bad.
Yeah, no positives come from it. There's some shortcuts that may occur. You may win a tournament. You may win a few tournaments. You may win some money or whatever it is. But ultimately, it always comes back around. Do you know the old saying, what goes around comes around? It happens. Now, in terms of where Halep is moving forward, it doesn't really matter the results of this investigation. She's been through the ringer emotionally with off-court issues. She has changed coaches. She has been through the Cahills and then to Raducanu.
You know, if I were
she went
her,
from Adidas to Nike.
Hopefully, someone like Cahill will support her, being that he knows her because he's been with her for a long time and can give her some advice. I'm sure these guys that commentate, they've seen this a lot. You know what I mean? And they can help her. I mean, she's like I said, she's had no drama. No, I mean, we've never heard anything bad about her until Patrick.
Okay, so a hypothetical question to you, to everyone. If the investigation does not come out in Simona Halep's favor, what will your thought process be about her moving forward?
Honestly, nothing.
No change?
No change for me. I mean, no, she wasn't taking steroids like these guys, you know.
Well, similar in nature.
I mean, but it was. They even said it's in a low dose. They didn't find it before in her career. They found it now. So honestly, no, I wouldn't think anything of her. It wouldn't change my opinion about her. If people can cheer Nick Kyrgios, someone who's acts trashy in the court and has done, John McEnroe, who's taken cocaine and other drugs while playing tennis,
but neither one.
And they still love Maria Sharapova.
But neither one of those is performance enhancing. If anything, to get mad.
Okay, but if you can love players like Sharapova still, who did have something that helped her in her career, why would you look at Halep bad?
See, the irony here is Sharapova was busted, and then when she came back, she wasn't the same. She wasn't. She couldn't win matches.
But people still love her.
I don't know. That grunt's pretty hideous.
For you, but people still love her. I don't think many people think of Sharapova as a cheater. Do you guys? I don't really.
Well, it's just coincidental that when she gets busted, obviously has to stop because they're going to test her all the time. She couldn't win any matches, then ultimately retired. Look at Yastremska. She was a hot commodity, moving up rapidly through the ranks. She gets busted, stops, comes back, and she hasn't been the same player. So I think my immediate thoughts on how it would be, well, I guess to be expected because of her game style.
What's up, Brian? Right? I just thought, I'm sorry. Like, if it was something that she did through her whole career, then okay, I would look at her different. But I just don't. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? Yes, I get it. Look, how many of us have cheated in a test and we got caught?
Not me. I never cheated.
But you cheated at something in life and you got caught.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we look at that? But yes, yes.
Do we look at that person bad forever?
Some people did for a while.
No, you don't look at, but you don't though. Life moves on. Why would we look at Halep as she's really bad? I don't really look at this as super bad.
I don't think she's a bad person.
I mean, in my head, I won't ever think she's a cheater. I mean, Troublemind says no change for me, but we really don't know her situation post-marriage. Things went south after that. The billionaire money comes with a price after all.
Agreed. So does she sell her soul? Is that what she? But now again, the marriage was so short. If her marriage was so short that I don't think there's an emotional detachment. I think that there is a mental detachment because of what she's dealing with. Like we look at Azarenka and what she's been through, her off-court issues, having a baby, and so forth. It's to be a master of your trade, and this goes back again to our first topic and what's going on with a lot of the junior players these days, right? They practice one day a week, twice a week, maybe for an hour, and they think that's the key. But if you want to master your craft, whatever it is, in life, on the court, off the court, football, baseball, basketball, whatever, you have to put in the work. Now, Carla, when you and I were kids, We were with coaches multiple days a week for an hour or two, but then we were with our fathers multiple days a week for 5, 6, 7 hours a day. Dad out there, and he sleeps late in the day because he stays up late at night, old doctor hours anyway. But he'll be the first one to tell you that we would be on court with coaches. And when that lesson was over, did you think we were going home?
No.
We would stay to the courts till 1 and 2 in the morning.
And that's the other problem with American tennis. There you go. They take one lesson and they think they're done. They're tired. I'm like, how are you tired?
Yeah, and we'll tell the kids that. How are you tired? You know, I'm 45.
How are you tired?
And I'm not tired. I've been on the court all day.
Come on.
And I think sometimes that comes off wrong to parents, but you know, we're real and we like to tell it like it is. So I'm telling it like it is with Halep, right? I'm telling you that with what she's been through off the court mentally, what she has dealt with in terms of divorce and changing coaches and changing brands from Adidas to Nike. It takes away mental energy, and it takes mental focus to continue to play at this level.
Again, does anyone know how you take this? By injection or orally? Can someone tell me that? Because that is a big thing for me. That to me is everything right there. That is the key. If she took it orally, then I could see where maybe there was a mistake, something. There was, you know, that whatever ingredient was in there. Mm-hmm. But if she took it
injection wise,
then there's nothing you can fight about that.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can say about that.
Yeah.
Nothing you can say about that. You know, I mean, it's like when this guy, what's his name, Gasquet, they found cocaine in his system.
But that's not performance enhancing, though.
Yes, I get it, but I'm trying to make it. But they found cocaine in his system. He said he accidentally kissed a girl or something like that. There's no way.
Didn't he say he accidentally kissed?
No, it wasn't Hingis.
Martina Hingis.
No, but there's no way. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So who knows what coach or what, or you know, because athletes are going through muscle recovery, and you do take stuff for muscle recovery. Yes, or something to help you rest, sleep, whatever. So I don't know. That's just
and Eleanor and Troubled Mind both said an important point here, and we've been talking about this now for a little while. And when I was even writing this morning, I was thinking baseball, and Eleanor took the thoughts right off my page. It's not like baseball. Remember the ball players who went from scrawny to Hulk, knocking the ball out of the park? How allegedly used didn't help her game. Now, let me elaborate on that a little bit. By the way, just to throw Trouble's Minds in there, he says yes, that's the sad part. It's a lose-lose situation. Now in baseball, surely the likes of Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, they were pretty scrawny, not really, but not as big as they were, and all of a sudden they swole up and are hitting home runs 50 more feet out of the park than they used to on average. Their steroids were, I think, called anabolic. It's used to build muscle mass, so you can see it night and day. What Halep is accused of doing.
About Raducanu.
That's our next topic, revisiting Raducanu. But to kind of put this in context, if Halep was using this Rockadustat or whatever, knowingly, again, it's to increase red blood cells, hemoglobin, to create faster recovery. And we know her game is grinding. So even though it didn't help her game physically, it did help physically, if it's true, because it helped her recuperate. And we know how grinding her game is. She is well known for 20, 30 shot rallies ad nauseum throughout every match that she plays. So look, if we go out, Carla, and play a set, right, and it's a grueling set, one of our 7-5, 7-6 sets where we're throwing variety and just running after every ball, how tired are we the next day? Pretty darn tired, and we have to go back out.
Look, I'm still tired. I'm still trying to
and play and coach again.
I'm still trying to
So
wake up and try. Even though I've been up since
since 5. Yeah. So what I'm getting at is since it speeds up recovery, then there's a motive there for Halep because of her style of play. So again, to wrap up this kind of discussion.
But why now? Like, why now?
Because she's getting older. And I'm not pointing the finger. I don't believe or not believe. And I don't particularly think that my thoughts would be changed either way. She's a fine player, fine champion, fine human being. And sometimes, we make mistakes. I get it. And sometimes we make mistakes and we know that it's a mistake, but we're willing to do it anyway.
Ryan says, good point. Simona is a counter puncher without a good serve. It's a very difficult game to play long term.
It's very difficult.
Trouble Mind says, yeah, that's also another good point. Her game style also quite speaks for itself to make the case.
Yeah, there's motive. Not saying that there was an infraction, but there's motive.
She should have done what she did. retired early.
That's Justine Henin.
Yeah, she should retire early because there's a lot of speculations and a lot.
Yeah, now oddly enough, I forgot Justine Henin's pictures back there. I had a chance to be on court with her and her team at the U.S. Open. Anyway, Justine Henin retired early as well. Well, why did she retire? Well, she said burnout, age, wanted to start a family, whatever. But, however, there was speculation that she was doping. That started to circulate, and before you knew it, she retired.
Yeah,
right?
She stopped it. She stopped it from.
Stopped it. So, look, Halep isn't the first person, and she will never be the last person. But there's motive because of her style of play and what the infracting.
But not only is this on Halep, it's on her coach too. Because you as a coach, it's like if my student, I know what my student's doing. If I'm traveling with them, that one student, you know what they're doing. You know their routine. You know who's working on their body, what they're putting on their body, where they rest, all that stuff.
Yeah.
How are they training? It's also on him. And then you have to, if she is guilty, you have to look at him. What kind of coach is he?
Yeah.
That he would allow this.
Yeah. And then also as well, it's not like Tylenol or Advil or something that's just, kept in the cabinet. This is those prescription type things. So you have to ask it, where did she get the prescription from? If there's not a prescription, if there's no trail of paperwork, then there's an infraction there as well. So I can assure you and I'm sure there's other chemicals that contain, trace elements of whatever, right? I can get copper and it might be, have a trace of nickel in it, that type of thing. But we're talking prescriptive medication, and we're talking one that is quote unquote the first instance of blood doping in tennis. We're talking something that takes multiple people, a conspiracy, basically, right? So we have to ask ourselves, A, does she have motive? Yes, her game style. Yes, her age, her always running around, grueling. And then we have to ask ourselves, now, how did you get this? Do you go out in the street and get it? And if so, why is she on the street? Do you go to your doctor and get it? If so, who's your doctor? So there's a lot of wheels turning here. And I think that the powers to be, the ITF or whatever, who is charging her with these accusations, did their homework before releasing such a statement.
Oh, they sure did.
We don't shoot from the hip, and those that shoot from the hip usually have to deal with the ramifications of doing so. Shooting from the hip meaning someone asks you a question and you immediately start running your mouth. When I was in college, I had a psychology professor. That was my degree. I had a psychology professor that would ask us a bunch of questions, and we would take the class, and a lot of people, or half of the class would be like, dang, I don't know the answer to this question. And the other half of the class would be like, oh. And ultimately, at the end of these type of lectures, the psychology professor would say, it was a bullshit question. There was no right answer. And he was trying to get at that sometimes the best answer to any question is, I don't know, right? Sometimes it's just bullshit. And if you start running your mouth, someone's going to think you're a smart ass shooting from the hip. Anyway, moral of the story is, I don't think that the ITF or the WTA or USTA or whatever just saw a test and immediately released a global statement about one of the best players, arguably of all time. I don't think they did that because they know what the lawsuit, what the litigation would be in return. So I'm very well sure that when this statement came out accusing a three-time major champion of performance enhancing or doping and the very first instance of blood doping, I can assure you they did their homework.
Trouble Mike says, I try to Google blood doping. I don't understand it all, but it says the misuse of pharmaceuticals might be the cause for it.
Okay, then we have to find out who the prescribing doctor is, so therefore she can be set free. I think the only way that she gets off of this accusation is if there's a prescribing doctor somewhere that can legitimately prove that she needed that because of a medical procedure. And the closest medical procedure that she has come up with has been a surgery to help her breathing. And it was prior to, or excuse me, after, it was after the accusations have been laid. So anyway, we wish the best for her. It wouldn't change my mind on Halep either way.
Explain the suspension Halep may have to face. It's at 4 years. It's 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
So currently Halep cannot play any tennis in terms of tournaments, right? 250s, 500s, 1000s in terms of women's tennis. Premier, I think, is analogous. She can't play any tournaments, but when the investigation is done, she'll either be reinstated and then apologies abound. But I don't think, again, that these major organizations I don't think their lawyers that represent these organizations would allow such a statement in terms of slander if they're untrue and risking hundreds of millions of dollars in lawsuits. I forgot what I was
Have
going
we
with that.
found anyone that's been guilty that it's come out, ever been found?
I think Yastremska and Sharapova. I think
they were guilty.
I think Barry Bonds. I think Mark
I'm
McGuire.
talking about that were guilty. I'm talking about that they said they tested positive for any type of drug. Have they ever come back and fought innocent? Not one. I don't think I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, no one's come back innocent.
No one's come back innocent.
Did Yastremska get it relinquished? Did Barry Bonds? Did Mark McGuire? Now, none of the baseball players ever admitted to it.
I don't believe that any of when they've accused them, anybody said, "Oh, our mistake."
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that. Have you? I mean,
no. And then also you have to think about like the federal prison system in the United States. So 90-something, I think it's like 99% of those people that are arrested by the federal government end up doing time. In other words, the federal government doesn't waste their time and money of arresting someone if it's false, because of the same things we just mentioned, the liability.
There are no innocent people.
Oh, there are.
Yes.
But at the federal level, it's very rare to have someone that pleads innocent that gets off. And we're in that same type of situation here, but we're not talking about John Doe on the street. We're talking about a mega tennis star. And that's the thing. I think she
will lose a lot of sponsorships after this.
Yeah.
She will lose a lot of friends, so-called friends, because there's always so-called friends.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if she returns with a different coach.
Yeah, she will have a lot of doors shut on her, and those that are true will stay with her.
Yes.
Those that are true friends, and there will be very few, will stay with her. And that's just unfortunately how life is.
Yeah, and to finish Eleanor's question, she's facing, if found to be true, she's facing 4 years of suspension from playing altogether. At her age, that's a death sentence.
Gabriela Kusaru says, I believe and stand with her. Look at what Darren Cahill posted. Well, that's
Agreed.
what I'm saying, that would be one coach that I believe that would stand by her side. You know, he knows her very well.
Yeah,
so,
good comment.
I mean, I like Halep. I hope it's not true.
Yeah, and Darren Cahill, stand-up gentleman, has been for many years. I do want to say one thing though about Nike/Adidas, and why do I bring this up? I won't get into my sneaker stuff. I'm a sneakerhead, Carla, beginning to be. I did read a lot of information. I did read a lot of information recently that Adidas as a company has been struggling really big as a whole. I read an article that Adidas in the year 2022 sold like 50% of the merchandise they normally sell and had literally huge warehouses full of pallets of their gear, shoes, clothes, accessories, whatever, that they were liquidating for pennies on the dollar in places like Amazon and so forth, because they've been struggling to sell their merchandise. So the only reason why I bring that up is we know that Cahill and Halep switched off the Adidas and then went to Nike.
That was a while ago.
I think it kind of sheds light on that. They're struggling.
Says Halep's integrity is faultless, and it's insisted that there's no chance she would have deliberately or wittingly taken a banned substance.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah, but again, I don't know how it's given. Is it intravenously? Is it whatever? But when you're a megastar athlete, you have to know what's going in your body. And I don't think there's anything new about that. I mean, look, if you go to the doctor and they tell you they're going to give you a shot, don't you want to know what's in it?
Some of us are stupid not to ask.
I mean, but at the level of play of Halep, don't you think she should be a little aware of exactly what's going in her body?
And then her husband says she wouldn't do such a thing. Okay.
All right, next topic. Next topic, we're going to revisit Emma Raducanu, as I like to say, not Emma Raducanu, but Emma Raducanu. So we're going to revisit this. We've talked about Emma Raducanu since she won her U.S. Open, and before that, we have always said we lost a lot of subscribers for this, especially when she won the U.S. Open, and I came back and went on this rage, and you can see that video if you go back.
Right, let me say one more comment that he says. He says, Simona Halep will never cheat. Her career is her shield, and I know her best. You know very well that I just finished a divorce. I could have said no comment. There is no way I would do such a thing. When I know this woman so well, when I have been with her for so many years, Simona was obsessed with not making mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting to see how it unfolds. Emma Raducanu, though, at least in our opinion, and not fact to or anything, but in our opinion, has never been a great player. Her recent string of losses are to be expected. Her U.S. Open win, we won't get back into that, was extremely lucky. And I'll quote was it Panetta that said that, or was it, who was it? Panetta said after Raducanu won the U.S. Open, like, this was a joke. If I was playing and had to play her, I'd wipe her off the court type of thing. Won't get back into that. But Emma Raducanu has now gone through another coach. So Sabalenka's old coach, the Russian coach Tursunov, is now no longer Raducanu's coach. I thought it was funny, though, because the lady Truss, the UK Prime Minister, was on 10 Downing Street for something like 43 or 44 days. And Tursunov was in Raducanu's corner for, I think, less time than that. Anyway, I don't want to get into geopolitics.
I just watched her give a speech to it, and then the next day.
Yeah, next day.
They want her out. They want her out. Gone.
Yeah. So can I ask you all a question, though? Do you think that Tursunov's lack of time on Team Raducanu had anything to do with that he was Russian? And let me explain. We know about the Ukrainian and Russian conflict. I don't want to get into the geopolitics, but I do follow it and I do enjoy it. Not the destruction, but following geopolitics. And also because our two oldest sons are at the United States Air Force Academy.
That's funny.
Do you feel like that Tursunov not being in her corner has anything to do with he being Russian?
I don't think
now, can I expand on why? As of now, anyone Russian or Belarusian cannot play at Wimbledon. Now, does Emma Raducanu want to walk into next year's Wimbledon with no sign of that conflict?
But she knew that when she hired him.
I don't know.
She knew that. Like, that's not a good one, Justin.
Well, look.
No, that's not.
Think a little bit more about it.
But she knew that.
Can I say something?
But she knew that.
Think a little something about this. Do you find Emma Raducanu, when she speaks, to be extremely bright? And aren't children the product of the parents? I don't find Emma Raducanu, or at this point, her parents, being extremely credible in terms of intelligence. The way she talks, when you look at Emma Raducanu as a person, and then you hear her speak, it's like a difference between night and day. She looks like this pretty girl, but she talks kind of like a thug.
She's smart. If you watch her talk in the beginning, she was fine. And then she won her U.S. Open. And then, she has a lot of attention. She got thuggish. She's not dumb, Justin. She's smart. Her parents are rich. Obviously, they didn't raise a stupid girl. Ben Frigger says, I'm so tired of the media talking about her all the time.
Me too.
Iga's winning. He wants to talk about it. Tournaments, but let's just have Emma in the spotlight.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But you're giving her a spotlight.
I'm not giving her a spotlight. I'm calling her out. Look, I don't think that anyone in Raducanu's team at this point, because of all the turmoil, I don't think anyone on their team is together a smart whole. I don't think they can't even keep their team straight. Much less do I think they're following geopolitics. I think it has a lot to do with that. Your whole country is going through turmoil. The prime minister just got kicked to the curb. Who's the next prime minister going to be? Back to Boris Johnson, aka?
But she hired him. She hired him.
But it wasn't a smart hire. Don't you think they regretted that after thinking a little bit?
She's fired so many coaches. Who knows? I mean, she fired the coach she won with. I mean, like, seriously. Yeah, Iga has been winning a lot, but again, it hasn't been a solid women's tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Swiatek has been
she's taking advantage of it.
She's definitely been killing it.
Good for her. And then Coco got bagel by her again.
Yeah, she's a level above. There's Swiatek in the field.
Yeah.
Too bad Barty's not still hanging around. Does this change anything for Raducanu moving forward? Her dropping this coach after X amount of days?
No.
I don't think so either. Same player, same game. Nothing new underneath the sun in this instance. I don't think it changes anything. I think it's just more media spotlight when ultimately she can't get spotlight from winning matches. So how does she get it? By off-court drama. But I do think there's some correlation with the Russian conflict and then her coach being Russian, and then also would not allow him to be at the facility during her biggest major in her home country. I think there's a play there. All right, next topic, Australian Open 2023. It's knocking on the door. We are already at the latter part of October. Djokovic. Let's bring Djokovic up here.
Wait, but let's talk about how Medvedev had a baby and nobody even knew his wife was pregnant.
Let's go.
So could that have been a reason why maybe he was so stressed out? Could not win? I mean, being a dad first time, all the attention was on Nadal being a dad, and all of a sudden, boom, now he's a dad, and then Gail Monfils and Silvina had their baby.
Is Medvedev's child a boy or a girl?
Girl.
Baby girl. What did they name her? Do you know?
I don't know. I gotta look. Does anybody know?
Exciting. It's always nice to bring new life into the world. We have 5.
I mean, but no one knew.
Yeah, we have 5 children, and it's always an exciting time. a childbirth with it brings a whole new walk to your life. It brings, stresses, and it brings happiness, and it adds a kind of a multifactorial stew to your life, right? When you get a kitten, it's a multifactorial stew. When you get a dog, it's multifactorial stew. But when you have a child, oh no, it's definitely life changing. So hopefully Medvedev is able to navigate through that. I think it's always a plus though to have your kids watch you do your craft, right? Like when my kids, we have 5 of them, when they watch us play a match, if we're playing, or watch us coach, it always makes you want to be better, because you want to set a good example for your kids, right?
Right.
Like if I'm coaching my kids, I always tell Carla that you can get a good idea of how another coach is, and no matter what the sport is, if you take a look at their kids. Like there's coaches that have this great reputation, and then you see their kids, and their kids supposedly have been playing for a while, and they absolutely suck. I think if you're a coach and you have kids and you're passionate about being that coach, I think your kids should be on track to be better than you have ever been. If not, I don't think you're a great coach. So that's what I always like to say. You can get a good look at how good of a coach is by looking at their kids. And that's just my opinion.
I mean, look at that. That's a nice hospital where there's the baby.
It looks like Florida. Probably Monaco or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, Novak Djokovic is set to return. So the gentleman Tiley, and I forget his first name, is it Bill Tiley? He kind of runs, or is the director of the Australian Open. He has announced that Djokovic is okay to play. I think there's still some legal ramifications that he has to deal with. As we all know, Djokovic was just absolutely demonized for the past couple of years, starting from COVID, the tournaments in his own country without masks.
And wait, now we don't hear about COVID. Now it's the flu.
Yeah, now it's back to the flu.
Now everybody's got the flu.
Yeah, everybody's sick.
It's flu.
It's the flu.
Not COVID.
Not COVID anymore.
Flu.
It's the flu. So
I'm sorry.
But
it's the flu.
So quote unquote from this gentleman, Tiley, and in the comments, is it Bill? I don't know. Quote unquote, Novak Djokovic will be welcome to play January 16th through the 29th of 2023. Novak Djokovic, by the way, has not lost a match at the Australian Open since 2016. He has won 21 straight matches there. Is he the clear favorite to come in and win that tournament again?
Yeah.
If he plays.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yes, I think he is the clear favorite. However, the problem I think that I have, in my opinion, with him being the clear favorite
He's beating people again.
Is his lack of match play, though.
He's been playing a lot. He just won a tournament.
Right. Just saying, best of 5, haven't played a major in a while. I think that is a factor. Do I think it will have effect? Maybe so, maybe not. But I think it will be a factor. We just look at Tsitsipas, just got beat by Rune, or Runa, as they now say. I didn't get my socks off during that match. Did you? We watched it. I was kind of tired of seeing Apostolos' dad. I was tired of seeing Rune or Runa, and I was tired and have been tired of watching Sissy Boy play, right? I didn't have a lot of excitement there. At the same time, we had Felix Auger-Aliassime playing Korda and the finals. And where was it? Antwerp?
It was
Stockholm?
It was
Antwerp?
It was
packed stadium there. Also, we had another final between Berrettini and Musetti in Naples, Italy. And we were watching all 3 matches. I wasn't very excited about any of them. The thing that I thought about mostly is I wish I was watching Djokovic play someone. I was wishing I would watch Nadal play someone. Or Medvedev even. I just wasn't excited about any one of the finals. Relatively boring gameplay. Tsitsipas, same old Tsitsipas. Rune, same old dickhead. Felix Auger, same old boring baseliner. Who else? The list goes on. All the people in the finals were not very exciting. I think the most exciting person in any one of the finals would be Musetti with the nice one-handed backhand. I would say Tsitsipas because of his one-hander, but I'm just kind of burned out on Sissy Boy, right? Mm-hmm. That's next chapter, right? Anyway, is Djokovic the clear favorite if he plays to win Australian Open 2023? I think so.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah. I think so as well. Who's going to beat him?
A good question. Based upon the finals that we saw today, honestly, Bill, Carla, are you excited about tennis after the U.S. Open at the pro level, or do you get really excited?
I know Wildlife sends me a lot of stuff, and honestly, no.
No, and why is that?
Because I know it's the end, and it's pretty much those that are that really do well. They're trying to get some points, titles. Those that should have won the slam.
Agreed.
It's not very exciting.
Yeah.
Not for me, no.
The people that can afford to rest at this point. if they've already committed their schedule to take an invitation to one of these tournaments, then they have to go, or they won't get invited back.
I mean, someone like Djokovic has to play because he didn't play a lot this year.
Yeah.
He has to play.
Yeah, and some of the top players, by the way, not all, but some get offered large amounts of money just to show up. We have seen some of the best players late in the years over the 4 decades that we've been involved with the game. We have seen certain players, let's say Roger Federer or Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, Del Potro, those type of players, go to tournaments late in the year, win a round, and then lose or just lose in the first round. Why? Because they have accepted an invitation, and some of these tournaments would offer these players $1 million plus just to play it. In other words, because they know people are going to come see it because they're there, right? They go do the players' party before, they do the media stuff, they do a match. So in other words, the tournaments give these players $1 million plus to play it, and then they make that back by concessions and sales, right? Mm-hmm. This late in the year, it's very common that this occurs. So with that said, I don't think the level of excitement is there at the end of the year. And I think you all would agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. The Tsitsipas Runa match, we watched Felix Auger match.
Yeah, Musetti was playing.
Watched, and the Musetti Berrettini match.
Right.
We watched. Now, I must say, I'll take the blame. I must say that was the first tennis we have watched in the past
since the U.S. Open.
Since the U.S. Open, yeah. And why is that? Again, we've been happily busy. We love to be coaching, but a lot of times we would hit the record button. Like during the U.S. Open, we'd hit record, come back and watch it, wouldn't check the score, so it would be a surprise. But we haven't done that because of this very reason, right? All right. Also, I'm going to get to a topic that has nothing to do with tennis, but it helps us get a better idea of what you do outside of tennis, but yet still in the sports world. So this time of year, the middle of October, the latter part of October, is the biggest time of the year in sports, okay? You have soccer or American football or global football or soccer, right? You have tennis. You have NBA, National Basketball Association. You have NFL, National Football, American football. You have Major League Baseball deep in the playoffs. We have NHL, which is hockey, which I'm starting to begin to like. And we have college football. Right. So every sport that has the biggest followings is active right now. So what I would like to know for anyone that cares, and I don't want to waste your time if not, but which of those do you follow besides tennis, and what are your favorite teams or players within each sport? So I'll start. So I must say that hockey, I never have had a lot of interest in, but Carla has a family member that came and visited us, and he kind of started talking about it. So I started watching it. I've always watched the highlights and stuff, but never had a big following for it. But I do realize how difficult and how fast and brutal that game is.
Guys are strong, yeah.
So I picked a team. I'm from San Francisco, born in San Francisco, California kid. So I went ahead and picked the San Jose Sharks as who I'm going to watch and root for. Now I did look at the standings this morning. They are a whopping 1-6. So they are dead last.
What about the Rangers?
You cheer from New York. You'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still can't watch hockey. It's tough for me.
Yeah. So the next would be the NBA, the National Basketball Association. Mm-hmm. I was born a Lakers fan, and I still am a Lakers fan. However, I don't watch them too much currently because I'm not a big fan. Of no disrespect, he's one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. But I'm not a big LeBron James fan, and I definitely am not an Anthony Davis fan, and I'm definitely not a Russell Westbrook fan. I've always been a James Worthy, AC Green, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that type of Magic Johnson, that type of era of Lakers fanhood. So currently I can't say I'm too terribly impressed, but I will go ahead and project that once again, the Lakers do not even make the playoffs because I don't think Anthony Davis can stay healthy. And I think LeBron is starting to kind of swagger a little bit in terms of age, even though he still is putting up big numbers. Let's go to the Major League Baseball. I'm a San Francisco Giants fan through and through. They did not make the playoffs. I think now we have the Yankees, which is her team, who they are down 0-3, love 3 to the Astros. And then as well, we have the Phillies playing the Padres. Now, Padres is a San Diego team. I used to live just outside of San Diego for a long time. I don't jump on the Padres bandwagon because they're a rival of the Giants. So I can't like the Giants as rivals. So I think now I'm going to hope for the Phillies to win the series, right? Bryce Harper. Who are the other players there? Bryce Harper. Who are some more?
I don't know.
Schwarber was another one. Okay,
I don't
anyway.
really watch that either.
So NFL for me, the 49ers, born there, love the 49ers ever since I was a child. I have 49ers sandals, 49ers socks, jerseys. I got the whole bit. In college football, I graduated from University of
Don't care about college football.
I graduated from University of South Alabama, so I'm a Jaguar fan by default. But outside of that, I'm a UCLA fan, so University of California, Los Angeles, and as well, don't forget the United States Air Force Academy, because our sons go there.
I have to watch one game, but okay. I'll go Giants and
Yankees.
Brady, unfortunately.
Tampa Bay.
I like Brady wherever he goes, but damn,
he's got some drama
he's
now
got
too.
drama. And then who's the other one I like from Wisconsin?
Green Bay.
Green Bay Packers.
And they're playing like garbage.
Oh my God. So yeah, let's go to some of these comments.
All right, taking some comments. Let's go.
Let's see.
Comment time.
We're asking. Brian says I enjoy NASCAR playoffs. Brent, no. Okay. Eleanor says football, although the Bears are. Yinghouse says NBA, Memphis Grizzlies.
Let's go. Who said that?
Yinghouse.
Okay, so Yinhao, I agree with you, and I'll be honest. Yinhao got me liking the Grizzlies. So Yinhao and I, we kind of chat a lot because we were very like-minded. John Morant is a beast. You know who John Morant is, right? He's the kid I was showing you the other night on highlights.
Yeah, that was jumping really high.
That scored 49 points.
Yeah, very like guy.
John Morant's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's very Allen Iverson-ish with his movements, and he's very Jordan-esque with his hops and with his fluidity. If you want to see a Roger Federer type player in basketball, in other words, the fluidity, the grace, the ability to just make it look effortless, look at John Morant. Amazing player. I hope the best for him. But again, in a team sport, it's hard for one guy to do it all. Now, when Jordan won his 6 championships, he had, whether it was Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright, John Paxson, the first run. And then the second runs, he has Dennis Rodman, he has Steve Kerr, he has Scottie Pippen, both runs. And you look at the Grizzlies, you have really kind of just John Morant. So I think deep into the playoffs, just like last year, they need someone to take his place coming off the bench unless they want to play him, 40 minutes a game. And then you're looking at injuries and wear and tear. So go Grizzlies, let's go. But I don't think they have enough depth to win a championship yet. They're going to have to make some moves, some trades, and build a deeper roster. And I don't think the market in Memphis will be able to support that. I don't think they have the cap space or the money to build that type of roster. Surely when Morant comes up for contract renegotiation, it's going to be one of the biggest ever in basketball, I can assure you. And it'll be hard to build a team with not enough capital in the market that they have there in Memphis, right? I've been through Memphis. I've been to fish concerts in Memphis.
Better, huh?
Who?
Your neck?
My neck? That's always the same.
Oh, gotcha.
Someone asked about my neck?
No, I'm just watching you move your neck.
Yeah.
Ryan says it's for him it's Joey Logano or Chase Elliott in NASCAR. Don't watch NASCAR. Trouble Mind says the English Premier League. This is the best thing that the Anglo-Saxon world presented to the world, and I'm a huge fan of Arsenal.
Okay. By the way, speaking of sports that use your feet, and this has to do with soccer or football, whichever one you call it. I saw a sport the other day on a ping pong table that had an art to it, and it was something called like Tox ball or something. And it was like ping pong, but they could only use their head, their chest, or their feet. Have you seen this? Have you guys seen this? Check that out. And I should have a video.
It's
ping pong, football. Have you seen this? It was an incredible skill. Take a question. Let me see if I can find it.
Nick Jones says soccer, Manchester United, but favorite player, Lionel Messi, plays for Paris. Ben Fricker says the only player I know in NBA are Jordan, LeBron, James, Ben Simmons, and Magic Johnson. Laugh out loud.
I found it.
Noti says, I doubt anyone here watches hurling or Irish Gaelic football, like a mix of NFL and soccer. Interesting.
Okay, so it's called Teqball, Teqball. It crosses football or soccer with table tennis. So let me play this.
69ers. I said, could you imagine a team called 69ers?
Look.
Did you hear them?
Look at this.
I'm guessing some European person came up with this. No way we would come up with that.
So have you seen that?
No.
They play a lot of intense points though,
Yeah.
right? So pretty cool. Check out tech ball, or I guess that's how you pronounce it. But quite interesting to see the coordination and foot and head and chest skills it takes.
Looks boring. Thank you. It's just something like
Yeah, I mean, it's just
so you know
nothing
I
fun.
find some of these sports that like tennis, and they'll make a million sports out of tennis. You know what I mean? And I feel like,
Pickleball.
well, everything. There's
Okay,
paddleball, there's pickleball.
let's bring that pickleball up for a second. We are all tennis fans, and we're fans of every sport, any sport. But what are your thoughts, honestly,
I think that
on pickleball?
I think it's great for older players that have a hard time moving.
That can't play
that
tennis
can't
anymore.
play full tennis. Yes. I'll check my inbox to Suze. You know, I think it's great for older players or heavier people that can't play.
Yeah.
It's a recreational hobby.
And it's easy.
It's easy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's easy. I've spoken to like a lot of tennis players that actually are real tennis players, and they are bored.
Bored with
They're
it.
bored with it.
So Carla,
And I'm sorry, but I just, you know, I know there's a tennis professional player that left tennis, but it's not like he was that good. Left Ruben, I think it was his name. He left to go play professional pickleball. There's not enough money. First of all, professional pickleball and any pro tennis player
traction.
It is basic. It is so basic. I learned it in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was kicking people's butts.
Yeah,
Playing for a long time.
So we were coaching elsewhere than we are now, and they put pickleball lines out, no problem. Anyway, so there was a gentleman out that saw us, and he was traveling, he was visiting, and he was like, "Hey, I can't play tennis; it's a little difficult for my knees. But would you guys like to play pickleball?" And we said, "Well, we never played, don't know how to play, but well, sure, we'll try it." So they showed us how to play, and he had been playing a pretty good bit, and he was supposedly really good. But Carla played him one game of pickleball, and then I played him one game of pickleball, and we destroyed the guy. It wasn't even close. It's not a bad thing, but there is a lot of animosity in big cities like New York. You read articles all the time about New York and California, some places in Florida where there's existing tennis facilities, and they put these pickleball lines up. And now the tennis players are having problems getting on the court to play on their courts because there's a bunch of people playing pickleball. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but I think that it shouldn't relinquish the game of tennis. In other words, I don't think they should put lines on top of a tennis court. I think they should make separate pickleball courts because, you know what I'm saying? Tennis takes a while to master, and it takes daily attention. But pickleball, you can go out and learn in 5 minutes and be a beast. We've done that. So I think it's a little bit boring. No problem. It's fun. It's better than sitting on the couch.
Definitely better than sitting on the couch. I think when I can't move and no longer, you know, then I'll do it, you know. But I it's not like my kids. We played it, and we played it for, I think we did it a few times with this gentleman who had a hard time moving, you know.
Yeah.
And it was fun and everything, but we get bored after.
And we still keep up with him.
After 20 minutes, I was bored of it. I was like,
I think he lives
I'm not sweating. I'm not challenged. I'm not thinking really here.
You're like hitting tweeners just to make it fun.
I mean, yeah, I'm not really strategizing here. There's really not a skill level, like, you know, like you have to learn how to, the rack has to be a certain, I mean, it's just, no, I'm sorry.
All in all, it's better than sitting on the couch, but don't bring it on massive public tennis courts and then cause friction from the people that have played tennis.
It is like ping pong on a bigger table.
Exactly.
You can't play outside when it's windy because the ball, you know, it's like a wiffle ball.
Yes, and Ben says a good comment, and he's absolutely right. Ben says, I think people have been complaining that the tennis channel switched from tennis over to pickleball. Agreed. We've seen this. Sometimes you'll be watching like, you know, an ATP 250, a first round match or something, you know, between, you know, two players that are, you know, 250 in the world or something. And then tennis will shift over.
I think that's wrong, especially those people paying for tennis channel.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
This says tennis channel, not pickleball channel.
Yeah. They should come up with,
you know, it's like the NFL channel. That's what you're watching.
Football.
Baseball, NBA. That's what you're watching.
Yeah. If I'm watching NFL Network.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of tennis players complain that they're going to get rid of the tennis channel because of that. They're like, I don't want to watch that.
Exactly.
Just saying.
You know, and then the noise is hideous. It's just a think, 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 think. You know, the tennis ball. You know, you just so look. Let me ask Ben Fricker. Let me ask Ben Fricker a question real quick. So Ben is a very good tennis player, solid. So Ben, if you were driving past or walking past a tennis facility, can you not tell just by listening if there's a good player out there? So I'll give you an example. Carl and I, we go to garage sales sometimes, and then we buy stuff and then resell it, just kind of as a hobby or side hustle. And how many times have we gone to a garage sale and in the neighborhood or in the apartment complex, there's tennis courts, and you can hear from a mile away a well-struck tennis ball. Wow, 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 wow. We'll say, hey, someone can play over there because you can hear it, right? When you hit a good shot, you can feel it, you can hear it. You know, if you frame it, you can tell. It sounds different. So pickleball, though, it's the same damn dink. Dink, dink, dink. So there are a multitude of people, I think, in New York City that are living in apartments, which, you know, are very, very expensive around where people play pickleball. And the tenants of those apartments or owners of those homes or condos or whatever are complaining to the city that they can't bear to hear that dink, dink, dink all the time because it sounds like ping pong, but louder. It's a heavier ball, so it's louder. But isn't it annoying, though, just the sound of it?
Yeah, it is.
You know,
You're terrible. Oh my God, a letter, an email sent to me. You offended me.
we're just having fun with it.
Oh, yeah. I played handball in New York, so I learned how to play handball when I was in elementary school. Very hard on the hand, very tough, but it was fun.
Some people
you play in a wall, like, you know, like where
yeah.
you hit in the wall.
And it's got sides on it.
Yeah, it's very
just
fun.
whack it with the hand.
It's fun, yeah.
I think handball has some of the same rules as pickleball, though, because there's like a kitchen, which I have no idea why they have this thing.
Not on handball.
So
Maybe something else.
So when you play this pickleball thing, there's a kitchen, something called the kitchen, and you can't step in there.
No, you got to step in and out.
Yeah. So when we play tennis, you know, especially me,
you're running up to the net, you set, you stay.
Yeah, I'm a
jump out.
I'm a serving volleyer, so I want to attack the ball and get to the net, right?
Yeah.
So in pickleball, you have to remember that there's something called this kitchen, and you can't step in. And anyway,
you can, but you got to step back out, which defeats the whole point of being aggressive.
Look,
just saying.
I feel like if there's something called the kitchen in a sport, then yeah, you probably are maybe a little bit out of shape there because you got something in the sport called the kitchen. It's like, hey, I can't get in there because it's the kitchen.
They should maybe like put some food, rather, you know. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. By the way, Christmas time is approaching. Christmas 2022. Very excited about Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. It doesn't matter if you don't do Christmas, totally fine, but no problem there at all. But Christmas is my favorite time of the year. Our two oldest boys, one is 20 and the other is 18.
Well, no, one is 19.
19?
Yeah.
So anyway, they'll be home for Christmas 2022, coming home middle of December. And we have a tournament coming up December 17th through 19th, 16th through 18th.
Yeah.
So we have the Winter Open. We're going to be putting on at Mirror Lake Racquet Club where we teach. Beautiful place. As always, we're going to do big trophies. We're going to do karaoke, entertainment. We're going to do food trucks as always. But the good news is our two oldest boys will be here to play it. So we're looking forward to that. Can't wait. Also, I added a bunch of new, not a bunch, but a handful of new sneakers to the Stand Tall Sneakers shop. So if you're into that, check out some of the videos that I have put out about the 2022 year-ending shoe collection that we put together, or I put together for this year. So check those out. And those are on a playlist called Stand Tall Sneakers. Anyway, I love shoes. Carla put me on shoe restriction until after Christmas. So
I put you in restriction.
I'll deal with that the best I can.
I don't put you in restriction. Get real. Get real. I mean, we went to Mississippi and he runs in. I'm just going to run into the hip and see if I can find some shorts. What does the man come out with?
Pair of shoes.
Pair of shoes.
But look, can you blame me? When I went to this Hibbett Sports in Mississippi, we shop in Mississippi at the Walmart because it's not any further than the one here in Alabama, and we can play the lottery there because they do the lottery in Mississippi, so we just make it fun. But I went into this Hibbett store, and there was a pair of retro Jordan 1s, lows, with the bread cover, the black and red. That's, a $220 shoe. And they had like 3 pairs left for $100. So I came out with a pair of $200 shoes for $100. So I was pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
She wasn't too excited about it, but nonetheless, I was excited about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. Much love. We will see you guys soon. I know I put out a lot of videos about our little cat. He's a cute little thing, and we've raised him since he was a day old. So we have fun with that. The next time we do a show will be the next day like this that we have some time to breathe a little bit.
Hey, bring me that little man.
Oh, and here's little
hey,
guy.
Little Yoda. No, just bring him here. You don't have.
Come over here.
Oh God, you need to brush your hair, both of you.
Come this way. Come on this side.
On Yoda.
Other side. So we got Gabriella here. By the way, Gabriella has her first tennis tournament coming up in November, and so does little guy. So little Justin has his first tournament coming up too. We generally only play tournaments if we expect them to win it or they have a chance to win it. Now, when you play your first tournament, there's always nerves and you don't quite know how it works. So I really feel like they can win their respective brackets, but because it's their first tournament ever, I think they're going to have a lot of unknowns, maybe some line call issues, maybe some rule issues. So I think it's important they keep playing sets. And then Gabriella and Justin have been playing sets, right? And I think they have split sets. I think Justin here at 7 beat Gabriella one time, and I think that Gabriella beat Justin one time. Well, she was up like 5-2.
Are you sucking on my finger? Are you suck? What's his name? Jax, like the Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, we name all our animals after Mortal Kombat characters. So we have Katana, the big girl pit bull. We have Sub-Zero, the big boy American bully, and we have Jax, the rescue cat with no tail. There.
Put him in the sun, in the light.
In the sun.
In the light, both. You know what I mean? Because it's
Got
so
it.
dark. He's like, I'm gonna suck everybody here in this house.
He's a good boy. All right, don't forget to subscribe if you watch this later. Much love, and don't forget for the Australian Open 2023, we will be doing, as always, the fantasy team competitions for cash. We'll be doing the finals predictions and winners for major cash, and that will start up in January. And again, we'll be doing shows like this up until that point, but more hit or miss because of our very busy schedule. Okay.
Yes.
Much love.
Sucking on my finger.
Great to hear from you guys. Much love. Take care.
Adios.
Peace.